What's up, guys? Welcome to Honest Reviews. I will be reviewing Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex 2045 today, and I think it's a really great show that is not getting enough attention and credit that it deserves. So today I'm going to break down real quick what the new show is, what it's about, and yeah, just give you a quick review and give you some backstory on this show. It is the true sequel to the Standalone Complex anime series in the Ghost in the Shell universe. And if you don't know what Ghost in the Shell is, get right on that. They made there's several excellent movies that were made, two distinct TV shows and a live action movie that was subpar, didn't quite get the love that I thought it could have deserved. It could have gotten a little bit more love. Let's just say that. And yeah, so the new entry into the universe is the Standalone Complex 2045 that just launched on Netflix about 2 weeks back. Right away, it is getting a lot of hate, and without even watching it, from people that have not watched a single episode. They just looked at one trailer and they thought that they understand what the show is about. 1 star. I think that's unfair. Just because it looks a little crappy, they changed the style from the traditional 2D cell shading with 3D kind of hybrid look from the Standalone Complex anime show that you may have seen on Toonami or on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, or their anime block. That's where it got really popular, really. It's a brilliant show, but yeah, the departure from the 2D animation to 3D was a bit jarring, and everyone just, it takes a while to get used to, and people that first saw it immediately did not give it a chance. So in part, I'm doing this review to bring some more insight on what the show is for the true fans, and hopefully bring some new fans right on in. Get right into it. A little bit of backstory on what Ghost in the Shell is, if you have never heard of Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is a future sci-fi cyberpunk anime, to say the least. The original Ghost in the Shell that was released in the mid 1990s was a classic. It was an instant classic. It was a bit slow for American audiences, I think, but it was such a shock to it's a true soul sequel to the type of shows like and movies like Blade Runner, where it paints a kind of not necessarily dark dystopian future, but a future that is right on track of cyberization, how humans are becoming more cyberized. And yeah, Ghost in the Shell explores a world where humans have kind of left behind this physical form, these physical bodies, and have extended into the digital world with cyber brains and, machine-made body exoskeletons and cars that drive themselves. In fact, I credit Ghost in the Shell being the most accurate portrayal of the future that we have seen so far. The more that I think about, especially the Standalone Complex world that was created and directed by that was created and fleshed out, I should say, by Kenji Kamiyama, I think is really accurate. It's really on point. We are seeing a world where digitizing the brain in some way or communicating with computers through the brain via stuff like Elon Musk's company Neuralink may be the first step to something like that, but showing that how it's a possibility and what kind of consequences and effects can come out of that. In such a world, you can do interesting things like telepathy communication, because you're on the same network. There's no need for language. There are no language barriers really in the Ghost in the Shell world, and things like hacking each other is a common theme where people can be hacked because their brains are now linked to computers. You can make people see things. You can make them lose consciousness. You're controlling electrical impulses. And I gave it a great thought today, and I'm like, yeah, damn, they've got it right on point. I can see a world 30 years from now where this is, if you watched Elon Musk's Joe Rogan podcast you will see that he talked about in the next 5 or 10 years, it may be possible to communicate with each other without even speaking. I think this is and that falls right in line with Ghost in the Shell. I immediately snapped back to the Ghost in the Shell world. Yeah, those are just little things like that fleshed out Ghost in the Shell to begin with. And yeah, Standalone Complex aired on the Cartoon Network back in the early 2000s, I believe, 2005, 2008 time frame, I think. It got mixed reviews because it's so philosophically complicated. And you know, it's one of those anime that you have to, even if you love it, you have to watch it maybe 2 or 3 times to fully grasp all the events that happen. One of the problems with people understanding the Ghost in the Shell universe is that they want a main character. That's why the Major, everyone knows the Major, this sultry female figure in a bikini body, you know, to grab the viewer's attention at first. But she's badass. She's got guns. She hacks people. She's like the best hacker in the world, one of the world's best hackers. And she knows how to take charge. This is like, you know, my fantasy. Yeah, just wrapped up into one. I would love the Major. But yeah, everyone wants the Major to be the main character. And a show like this is really meant to be a detective show where it's about the events that are happening and the team itself, which is Section 9, an elite undercover kind of special ops team hidden in the government, of the Japanese government in the future. Yeah, and so yeah, the show is really about Section 9 and the events that happen to Section 9 and each of the 6 characters. This is where Ghost in the Shell 2045 come in. They didn't miss a beat from first and second gig of Ghost in the Shell. They fall right in line where they try to focus on the team. And that's why I think this is a true sequel to the standalone complex universe. They take those ideas and they ran with it. Albeit in an ugly way, it's still great. Don't let the haters and purists fool you. We all hate the art direction, yes, but the show is very enjoyable and has the Git's soul. Kenji Kamiyama did it again. Leagues better and deeper than the live-action movie, and prove the direction to take a show like this is by focusing on Section 9, never just the Major. This is a departure from the philosophical nature of Ghost in the Shell. However, it's definitely a worthy successor to the standalone complex universe. All fans should do their best to watch this and make sure others watch it, because this just means more financing and higher production value in the future from Netflix as producers. In a nutshell, you should enjoy the show, because what's next to come is going to be great. They just finished up their first season. They have a second season planned because they bought Netflix bought a 24 episode pack. And yeah, I don't even want to give away the story. Just know that it falls right in line with the standalone complex universe. You should definitely check it out if you enjoyed standalone complex and you enjoy Ghost in the Shell in general. Ghost in the Shell Arise was also really good. You should also check that. Didn't get a lot of love either. It's not quite as enjoyable as the standalone complex, but it's definitely a worthy watch. Anyway, that's just I just thought I'd just give my quick mention and review of that show. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. If they got the art just a tad bit better, it could easily get a 4.5. There are some things missing in the story beats a little bit, but overall, very enjoyable anime. Anyway, thanks for joining in, guys. I hope to see you next time. We're going to be releasing more reviews and new kind of insights into shows that you should be checking out. So until next time, guys, stay safe.